Coronation Street is exploring right now, and this week things have taken a turn so dark, so calculated, that fans across the country are holding their breath. Because Theo Silverton hasn't just tightened his grip on Todd Grimshaw. He's pulling him out of Weatherfield entirely. And if he succeeds, Todd may never find his way back. Welcome back to the channel. If you've been following Coronation Street lately, you already know that the Todd and Theo storyline has been one of the most unsettling, emotionally raw plots the soap has delivered in years. But right now, in the final days of March 2026, this story has exploded into something truly unmissable. And today we are breaking down everything you need to know about the tragic double exit that appears to be looming over the Cobbles, and Theo's terrifying new scheme to lock Todd away from everyone who loves him forever. To understand just how serious things have become, we need to take a step back and look at how we got here. Todd Grimshaw, played by Gareth Pierce, is a character that longtime Corey fans know well. A complicated, often flawed man, but one with deep roots on the street. Over the past year, Todd has found himself in a relationship with Theo Silverton, a scaffolder played by James Cartwright, who arrived in Weatherfield looking charming and devoted. But beneath the surface, Theo was something else entirely. A controlling, manipulative abuser who has systematically dismantled Todd's confidence, finances, freedom, and sense of self. The abuse has escalated dramatically in recent weeks. In a harrowing episode in early March, Theo pulled a knife on Todd after his birthday celebrations soured, calling him a pathetic, useless waste of space, and hurling crockery across the room before making a direct physical threat. Pink News. It was a moment that left viewers stunned, and it was far from the first time Theo had crossed a line. Producer Kate Brooks has confirmed that Theo sank to a whole new low earlier this year when he deliberately left Todd's former partner, Vicar Billy Mayhew, to die in the aftermath of the Corriedale crash, silencing the one person who had uncovered the truth about the abuse. Billy, played by the beloved Daniel Brocklebank, paid the ultimate price for knowing too much. Fan favorite Daniel Brocklebank, who played Billy for 11 years, has already been killed off. A loss that sent shockwaves through the Coronation Street fanbase. Prolific North. With Billy gone, Todd was left with no one inside his relationship who truly understood what he was enduring. And that isolation, as any expert in coercive control will tell you, is exactly what an abuser relies on. For a brief moment it seemed like Todd might be free. In mid-March, following a massive altercation on Theo's birthday, it was actually Theo who ended the relationship, walking out and spending the night sleeping in his van. TV Guide. But as anyone who has followed this storyline knows, Theo doesn't let go. Actor James Cartwright himself explained the psychology behind it. Even the breakup is disingenuous. The last thing Theo wants to do is break up with Todd, but he's seizing control. There's probably a perverse pleasure in seeing how miserable it makes Todd, because that shows how much he loved him. Back to the Bay. And seize control is exactly what Theo did. After spotting Todd spending time with a man named James, Theo's jealousy consumed him. He quietly spiked Todd's drink, switched off his alarms, and ensured he would miss the charity marathon he had been training for. A crushing, humiliating blow that left Todd devastated and dependent on Theo's false comfort. Back to the Bay. That moment of manipulation was the setup for something even more audacious. On the day of the marathon, Theo showed up wearing a medal, surrounded by Todd's friends, acting as if nothing was wrong, while Todd woke up groggy, disoriented, and horrified that he had let everyone down. Back to the Bay. And then days later, Theo turned up at the funeral home where Todd works, dressed in his finest suit, with a blindfold and a so-called surprise. He led Todd to the local register office, where Gary and Maria were waiting, and pulled out 2 wedding rings, presenting a spontaneous marriage as a romantic grand gesture, when in reality it was a trap. As James Cartwright put it, in springing it on him, he's making sure that Todd doesn't have a choice. He's absolutely painting him into a corner. Back to the Bay. Todd and Theo are now husband and husband. And that marriage is the foundation of Theo's most dangerous plan yet. With his mask slipping and more people growing suspicious, Theo announced he had conveniently landed a job promotion in Belfast, and told Todd that they need to move there within 2 weeks. "We'll never be happy here with people sticking their nose in, will we?" he told his new husband as Todd hesitantly agreed. Yahoo! The intention is transparent. Get Todd away from Weatherfield, away from his friends, away from anyone who might intervene, and continue the abuse in complete isolation. But the net around Theo has been tightening. In a pivotal moment, George Shuttleworth paid an unexpected visit to the flat and, unbeknownst to Theo, was still in the bathroom when Theo returned home, and heard him hurling abuse at who he assumed was Todd alone. Yahoo! George emerged from that bathroom having witnessed the truth with his own ears, and everything changed. He confronted Theo directly, offering Todd a safe place to stay and making it clear he would not stand by while his friend was being controlled. Gary Windus also confronted Theo, warning him bluntly, "I'm on to you, Theo. We all are." Gary, who is no stranger to the darker side of life in Weatherfield, made clear he was capable of extreme measures if the abuse turned out to be real. Yahoo! It was a warning that visibly rattled Theo, who scrambled to play down what people had witnessed, while quietly accelerating his Belfast timeline behind closed doors. This week, Todd's closest circle, Glenda, Sarah, Summer, and Christina, are being brought fully up to speed on what George has discovered. The group is horrified as they connect the dots and realize the extent of what Todd has been enduring. Back to the bay meanwhile, Theo confronts George at the bistro with Todd present, trying to neutralize the threat in public, while Sarah and Summer watch on in alarm, increasingly aware that Todd may genuinely be about to leave Weatherfield. Back to the bay. And here is the gut punch at the center of all of this. Coronation Street has now confirmed that actor James Cartwright is preparing to film the storyline that will bring Theo's time on the show to an end, meaning a double exit. Both Theo and Todd is very much on the table. Soap Opera Daily, a spokesperson for the show, confirmed, James joined Coronation Street on a finite contract and was fully aware of his character's story arc and how long he would be in the show. He still has scenes to film in the Todd/Theo storyline and will be on screen until later this year. One fact. The question fans are screaming at their screens is, how does this end? Will Todd be dragged to Belfast before anyone can reach him? Will someone, Gary, George, or someone else entirely, intervene in time? And what form will Theo's exit take? Theo was also named as one of 5 characters who could potentially be killed off in a major episode set for April 23rd, the day of a huge event tied to Carla Connor's storyline. Well, that date looms large in fan discussions right now. The theories are flying. One fan theory making serious rounds online suggests that Todd will ultimately be the one to kill Theo, with George helping him dispose of the body. TV Guide dark? Absolutely. But given everything this character has done, the financial abuse, the emotional torment, the knife spiking drinks, and allowing a beloved vicar to burn to death, viewers are demanding nothing short of total earth-shattering justice. Fan responses on social media have been deeply emotional. One viewer wrote, "If Todd moves to Belfast, there'll be no stopping Theo. Theo might be able to breathe again, but I bet he'll have Todd totally isolated." Another added, "Not Theo trying to take Todd to Belfast so he can continue his abuse without anyone being able to stop him. If he gets Todd to Belfast, I think he will end up killing him." TV Guide, these are not just dramatic reactions. They reflect a real understanding of how coercive control operates, and why Coronation Street's handling of this storyline has struck such a profound chord. Corey producer Kate Brooks has been clear that this is not a storyline being rushed. This is not something that's wrapped up after a couple of months. And the show has been working closely with LGBTQ+ anti-abuse charity Gallup throughout, ensuring that the story is handled with honesty and care. TV Guide, this is not just drama for drama's sake. It is shining a spotlight on a form of abuse that rarely gets airtime, and doing so with unflinching authenticity. There is some reassurance for viewers on the edge of their seats. A recent flash-forward glimpse at scenes due to air on April 23rd showed Todd and Theo still in the flat together, meaning at the very least they haven't gone anywhere just yet. TV Guide, but with the Belfast plan accelerating, with Theo's exit confirmed, and with Todd's loved ones finally rallying around him, something has to give. The walls are closing in on Theo Silverton and his time on the Cobbles is borrowed. So there you have it. One of the most compelling, disturbing, and deeply human storylines Coronation Street has produced in a long time is heading towards its climax. and the double exit of Theo and potentially Todd feels increasingly inevitable. The only question is whether Todd walks away free, or whether Theo manages to drag him far enough away from Weatherfield that freedom becomes impossible to find. Whatever happens next, one thing is certain. These are not episodes you want to miss. What do you think will happen to Todd and Theo? Do you think Todd will make it out safely, or are you worried Theo will get him to Belfast first? Let us know in the comments below. We read every single one of them. And if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Coronation Street news, spoilers and episode breakdowns, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'll see you in the next one.